I doubt David's coming.
Well, I tell you, there's a lot of places I could be going. But I'm actually headed down to St. Peter. I got to do a little cleaning at the old place. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. Better late than never.
The boys are back. The boys are back in town. We welcome you to TWI. I'm your host, Ike, with an unreal cast. As always, we got Matt on the bottom, Jared above him, Big Bet Barter, and then Eric P on the top. Our feature match of the week is Cam Norrie versus Alex Molchan. How's everyone doing today, though?
Pretty good.
Is the BBBB brand going along?
I'm ready to slap on some massive bets and start attaching some credibility to my name. It'll get there. It's not a race. I have gotten some interest from several suitors for my new brand. Mostly just Scott Schwant, but it's going well.
So we'll transition into our betting records through week 11. Matt's taking the cake right now. Made an absolute wussy bet last week with a $3.60 bet. Absolutely pathetic. I'm glad I lost money last week based on your bet.
I don't know. You guys all went this way and I went good. Wait, hold on. This way, so
that's fair. Anyways, Matt's 8-3 leading the pack, followed by Eric, who is 6-5. And we got a bunch of guys in the negatives. We got to come out, dig ourselves out of the graves.
Let's go over the rules of betting real quick. The boys will bet on one featured match per week. They must put $10, $20, or $30 towards the bet of their choice. All types of bets welcome. And the winner at the end of the year wins that sweet 69 Chevy, but the levy must be dry in order to win.
So today's feature match is in Lyon, France. The winner takes 85 grand. I'm going to start her off. I have Cam Norrie winning the match, but I'm going to be betting on the over 22.5 games. I'm going to be putting $20 on Norrie. Norrie's my favorite player on tour right now, so I'm hoping he wins another title this year. I think Alex Molchan, he's definitely on the come up, but Norrie's solidifying himself in that top 15, top 10 range. So I don't see how he doesn't win this match. Eric, what do you got in this one?
Yeah, really the only thing I know about Alex Molchan is that Novak's former coach is now his coach.
Yeah.
And also he hit an unreal behind the back winner against Alex Demonauer in a previous round of this tournament. So just based on lack of knowledge, I think I'm going to take the Norrie money line. Looks like he's a little bit of a favorite, and I'm going to go $20 on that.
So it'd be $20 to win 1160. All right. What do you got, Big Bet Barter?
All right, I got a big bet for you. So I got to take the favorite Norrie, but Molchan's on a roll. He's from almost Serbia, and he does have Novak's coach. If he was from Serbia, he might display a little bit more skill, like the guy. Like the boat, he's gonna push Norrie to 3. So I'm putting 30 on Norrie winning in 3. I'm also betting on Norrie because I slid into his DMs this morning and made sure that he knew if he came out on top, he would be receiving some complimentary Big Bet Barter brand gear, and that lit a fire underneath his ass. He's going to get it done.
So we got $30 to win 96, an absolute menace bet. I love it.
Oh.
Jared, what do you got in this one?
I'm intrigued by the Norrie money line. I think Norrie comes out with a win in this match. I'm going to flip what you did, Isaac. I'm going to take the under on the games. I agree that Molchan's been on a nice run, but I think Norrie gets this one done. I think he takes care of business just with that experience, especially with this being a final match. I think he steps up and gets it done. So I'm gonna put $20 on under 22.5 games.
All right, $20 to win 1540. Last but not least, we got Matt Hokinson. What do you got, Matt?
I'm gonna take the same logic as Jared in this one. 21.5 4 and 4 is 20 games. 21.5 would require probably a tiebreaker or a 7-5 set. I don't see that happening, especially on clay where Norrie's very strong. So I'm going to take the under. I got some money to play around with. Let's do 30 on the under on games.
But I'll tell you this. I'm headed on the Cam Norrie train. That's what I'll say. He's going to win tonight. What?
Keep going.
Keep going.
You can do it.
Okay. Thanks, Mom. No, so here's my take. Cam Norrie, he's gonna win 2 and 3. He's just better. Although the guy he's playing is pronounced Molchan.
Molchan.
Yeah, top Slovakian player in the world. That's kind of cool. But gonna win 2 and 3. I believe the game line is 22.5. So 6 plus 6 equals 12. Plus 5 equals 17. 22.5 minus 17 equals 5.5. I'm gonna take the under by 5.5.
How much are you wagering on this one?
I'm in the cellar already, boys. There's
30.
I'm in the deep bowels of hell. So I'm gonna go $30.
$30 to win 23-10.
This
You
guy's
bet.
about to be in the deep bowels of hell when he crashes his car on a video call while driving.
I got a Tesla. I got that dirty politics money, so I'm driving a Tesla.
Highly illegal activity occurring here on the screen. David's got his shades on. He's on the Tennis with Ike stream while driving.
That's how much I care about this, boys.
We get shut down.
Yeah, we would.
Um,
Isaac, David's confidence in Norrie makes me feel bad about my bet, but Matt's confidence in Norrie makes me feel good about my bet. So I'm going to bump mine up to $30 as well to match Matt. I can't just sit by and bet 20 while he outdoes it. He's got a big enough lead the way it is. So bump me up to 30.
Glad to see we're a bunch of independent thinkers here.
Can I say the only thing that Jared should feel bad about is the lack of topspin he can hit on his forehand and the lack of any sort of spin he can hit on his pancake-looking serve.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
well, Jared's taller than you are, so.
Oh.
Damn it. Oh, brother.
Massive news today. The ATP announced that there will be no points awarded at Wimbledon this year. Previously, Wimbledon said that no Russian players would be able to play in the tournament this year. So the ATP announced today that they didn't think that was like necessarily a fair for the entire player pool. So no points will be awarded today. First thoughts, guys. What do you guys think about this?
I hate it, and here's why. I don't think enough people have been talking about how much points mean to those players who just barely get into the tournaments. And so, example, for like all these qualifiers, like you get in a, like, I forget how many points it is for even making the main draw versus like winning a future or winning a challenger. And so not having points like affects their ranking so much more than it does like the top players, because the more main draws you make as a fringe player, like let's say from 80 to 125, the more the better position you are to make more main draws in the future. It really just hurts those bottom end players in the draw, which I don't think it's right.
Yeah. I mean, I think you could argue the exact same and say it hurts the ranking players of the Russians when they don't really have a choice in being, included or excluded too. You know what I mean? I'm sure the Russians have a lot of really, really good players. I think that if there's only maybe one or two, maybe in the lower end of that top 100, I don't think this is really a conversation. But Daniil Medvedev, former number 1, I think he's number 2 right now. Karen Khachanov, Andrei Rublev, like they have a nice cast. So that's why I think this is such a big deal.
Yeah, I like the intention trying to compensate for what happened to the Russians. I don't know how like Khachanov or Medvedev have approached things, but obviously Rublev was quick to show his support to the Ukrainian people. It's tough. Like it's a tough situation. I don't know what they do to support them. Like, so again, like great intentions, but maybe they could have incentivized them another way or compensated them for missing out on it.
It also shows the lack of like consistency in professional tennis.
Like I said, the casual fan, are they going to understand what this even means as far as points and rankings? Probably not, right? I mean, it's more people like us that look at those sort of things. But at the same time, to have that inconsistency, then it just gives those fans another reason to take a look and from a lens of scrutiny rather than from a lens of support of something, right? So I don't know. I go back and forth. I know, Carter, you made a good point too, and it's true that it's an attempt to be more fair to those players, and that's why I kind of have a hard time making a decision on how to feel about this. But I think you're running a real risk here of just from an outside perspective, how does this look, and what kind of sort of mentality does that create about the way the game is run?
Well, another thing too is Medvedev is up high in the rankings. He's been out, but I don't know what they're going to do with like point structure because of the absence. Like, is Djokovic going to retain his 2,000 points? To me, like the best thing you could do as far as like approaching the issue of the war is try to unite people as much as you can.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Really good points all around. Where I was thinking about it was similar to Matt's first point about the sort of the fringe tour players. This really kind of hurts. I was thinking about it from a prize money perspective too. I learned today that because there's no points to be won, the prize money gets a huge cut as well. I don't know what the exact number is. I heard somewhere in the 50% range, but I don't know if that's true. If Djokovic wins 500 grand instead of $1 million, that doesn't matter. But if your round of 32 guy wins 10 grand instead of 20 grand or whatever it is, then that could be a really big loss for that person. I was also thinking kind of on the consistency framework, how there's been other hot button issues in tennis lately where tournaments haven't taken really aggressive stances like this, like the Peng Shui controversy, for example. Tournaments, governing bodies besides the WTA, those higher ups were kind of quiet about Peng Shui's safety not being known. And so I know it's different to talk about an international conflict compared to a player being missing or whatever the case may be. But again, the consistency between taking stances like this when there is something wrong going on in the world would be good for the game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, to the consistency part, I think that's what the ATP is trying to do, though. They're trying to keep a consistent, because Wimbledon banned these players. I think they're saying, hey, we're trying to keep a consistent approach where, 3 of our top, 20 guys can still compete for the same amount of points. And Carter, just answer what you said. Can Novak keep his points? No, they're not. They're not allowing. They're still allowing stuff from 2019.
Yeah.
Crazy as that is,
Yeah.
because 2020 was canceled. 2019, they made up a rule that you can keep like half the points. So people will still be holding on to points from 2019 and not 2020 or 2021. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's crazy. So to get it straight, they're wiping Wimbledon from 2021 then for everyone, right?
Right.
Okay.
I can already picture Novak winning Wimbledon, and then Ike is tweeting about how it's a bubble championship with an asterisk after it because it doesn't really count, and he won't add that toward the GOAT debates and all this stuff. I can already picture it.
You know what this feels like, though, boys? We're due for someone out of nowhere to win a major. And you know who that man is, boys? That man is David Goffin.
Well, it's certainly not going to be Zverev.
I figured out a solution that would contribute to world peace and possibly ending racism.
Wow. Okay, let's hear it.
I'm going to support the Russian players with free access to my my initial big bet barter brand. They can be my brand ambassadors.
Yeah.
So instead of playing under the Russian flag, they're going to play under the quadruple B.
The quad Bs, baby.
Yeah, yeah, the name's going to get so big that LeVar's going to drop his 3 Bs and add another B and potentially have another son. This is just the beginning. Like I said, the whole goal is, all 4 of my sons are going to be playing doubles together on the same team. And they're gonna carry the brand with them.
Well, that concludes our talk for today. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.